This is Earl Amin with the 2020 Foresight Podcast, where CEOs of small to global businesses share their insights. It is 6 questions in 9 minutes because top CEOs know how to listen and be concise. So let's get to it. So tell me in just a few sentences who you are and what you do.
Sure. My name is Sam Richter, and I'm a speaker. I travel the world and do keynote speeches and company training. And my area focuses on what's called sales intelligence, which is just a fancy way of saying, how do you find information on other people? So when you meet with them, you're relevant to what they care about. And I've developed a number of technologies associated with that. And I've served on a number of technology boards of directors. So a lot in the technology area, but my main area is speaking. I'm a best-selling author as well of books related to the same topic. But again, sales intelligence, speaker, technology entrepreneur.
Outstanding. Well, what's the best thing about being the CEO?
Well, I think the best thing is to, you get to try an idea, you get to create an idea, you get to try an idea. I don't have to go sell my idea to a big table of bureaucrats who some of them might not have the company's best interest in mind. They might have their own personal best interests in mind. And I think the biggest advantage of being the CEO is when you try these ideas, you can fail and you can yell at yourself, but you don't have to worry about getting fired, other than maybe your spouse or your partner might fire you. But then you can learn from those mistakes and move forward. So that's my favorite part, is the ability to take calculated risks and continue to take those risks and really not worry. I mean, there's enough worries running your own business, having a family right now, especially. The last thing I need is to be worried if I try something, I'm going to get fired. So you get to try something without being fired.
Indeed. Now, I hear from other CEOs that leading their team and being able to see what lies ahead can be a challenge. What are your thoughts?
In terms of, so just leading a team in general, in terms of being able to see forward, I think especially it's not only the team, but I think it's also important as a CEO that you surround yourself with a similar or maybe not similar businesses in a mastermind type of a group. So you really get a different perspective. I think sometimes the challenge with only relying upon your own team is you're all seeing things through the same lens. And so sometimes it's good to join a mastermind group or even an industry association, or listening to podcasts like this in particular, and get other views from other industries, other CEOs, find out what's going on in their world and how, and then you can interpret what's going on in terms of moving forward as well. But I think that is absolutely a great benefit of running a company is having people that can share their ideas, so long as you, the leader, are open to those ideas and aren't so myopic and sit in a silo and think that the ideas are the only good ones.
Well, you somewhat answered my next question.
Sorry.
But no, that's okay. You may have something more to add to it. What piece of insight do you want to share with other CEOs?
Well, I think the biggest part of being a CEO, or the most important, is, especially in these times, is we all know that we have to set a vision for the organization. But I think the key here is also effectively communicating two things. One, everybody's role in determining that vision. I hear from young people in particular, so many times they come to work and it's drudgery. And when I hear that, what the immediate thought that comes to my mind is they haven't been effectively communicated with their role, their important role in achieving the overall company's goals. So even if that's the person who just puts the mail, when I first started out, I was in the mailroom, right? My job was to put mail in the mail slots. And frankly, back in those days, I was just thrilled to have a paycheck. Yeah. But my point is, especially younger people today, it's really important that everybody understands their role in the organization. And then the number two thing is also effectively communicate that role and the vision could change at any moment, because the world is changing so fast today. And I think where I may have failed in the past as a leader is I've known why we've shifted. My board has known why we've shifted, but maybe I haven't effectively communicated to the team why we've shifted. And it causes confusion. And then again, it causes confusion with their role. So I think those are two big pieces of advice for leaders.
Excellent. Now, what other successful CEOs like yourself would you like to acknowledge and should be on my podcast?
Oh gosh, there's so many of them. I kind of hang out in my world of professional speakers, but the ones that, professional speakers that I can think of that would, run 1 to 10 person companies, someone like Mark Hunter, who's in sales, Dr. Mary Kelly, an economist, doctor and economist and also a leadership expert, Meredith Elliott Powell, who's an expert in sales and leadership. Those are some of the people that in my mastermind group that I like to work with. Dan Thurman is one who's got some pretty decent sized company. David Horshauger, a pretty decent sized company. But all those folks, are either solopreneurs with consultants. I mean, nobody does it alone, really. 1099s, or they have a staff. And then other people, Scott Severson from BrandPoint, a couple of boards I'm on, Lori Frank from Argos Risk. These are all companies that have done really well during this challenging time, and that I lean to for advice.
Sure. Now, for the final question, tell me, how do you celebrate a win?
That's a really difficult one and a great question, because I don't do it very well. I'm a big believer in virtual visualization. And so when a win occurs, it's already occurred in my mind 500 times. So I used to play football as an example, and it always bothers me when people get in the end zone and they score a touchdown and they do their dancing and things like that. And I know that's important because it gets the teammates excited. But in my mind, it's kind of, I kind of prefer the Barry Sanders method. It's like, hey, I've been here 8,000 times already. What's the big deal? And that's a big negative for me is I don't celebrate the wins, and I take the losses really, really hard. So that's something that I certainly need to do a better job at. I know for a company, BrandPoint, the company where I'm on a board, one of the things they do, they have a big cowbell sitting in the lobby with a big rope on it, right? And anytime somebody wins a new piece of business, they go to the lobby, they ring the cowbell. Little things like that, I think can be fun and inspirational. But it would be kind of weird for me to have a cowbell in my office and ring it every time I won a new gig. My wife would think I'm a little odd.
A little odd.
More odd than I am, put it that way.
Well, Sam, it's been a pleasure having you on. How can people find you?
The easiest way is my website, samrichter.com, SAMRICHTER.com, or because I talk about the internet, you should be able to Google me. If I don't show up, don't listen to anything I have to say.
Awesome. This is Earl Amin with the 2024 Site Podcast. For more insights, go to LinkedIn and search for the Gray Owl Company. Sam, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Earl. I appreciate it.